And shout out an answer, anyone. Typical answers. Typical answers. Anyone got it?
This is a guess, but is it one of the tax statements? So is it either Monaco or?
It's a good guess, but I'm going to give you an idea and say it's not a common answer. Have you got one?
Andrew over there.
Sorry? Luxembourg. Good guess, but not quite. You? The wealthiest place. Yeah. Okay, you're all very good guesses, but I'm going to suggest that it's not what you think. It's actually the graveyard. Can you imagine everybody who's been to the graveyard who's died in the world? Can you imagine what would have happened if each one of those people fulfilled one of their desires in life, and they fulfilled it rather than taking it to the graveyard with them? So what am I talking about? I'm talking about people that die, and their regrets aren't what they did in life, but their regrets are what they didn't do in life, what they didn't have the courage to do. And so think about a story, the Wright brothers. Who knows about the Wright brothers? Okay, so the Wright brothers, they flew the plane, they made the plane. And so when they said to the world that they're going to build the plane that is going to fly people across the earth, you know, they were ridiculed, they were laughed at. They had to carry on with their desire to do that in the face of all sorts of adversities, all sorts of failures. But they succeeded, and they shocked the world, and they achieved a great thing. And as you go through life, you know, you have greatness within you, and it's not just down to certain people that you see on the TV or certain sports stars. And I want to tell you from my own experience that, you know, we can make the world that we want, and it all starts with a principle that if anyone can put their hand up now and guess what I'm actually going to talk to you about today, I'll give away this free book. So the principle which drove the Wright brothers to succeed, which drives people to succeed all over the world. Can anyone guess what that is? Shout it out, guess, you get a free book. Any guesses, ideas? One principle, one word, starts with a B.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
Anyone?
I want the book.
I'm shocked. Belief. I can't give the teacher to the can't give the book to the headmaster, housemaster. So we're going to have to come up with another question. He's already answered it. I'm going to come up with another question later on.
Looks like a really good book.
So it's belief that I want to talk about, and thank you firstly for getting me to come here and speak to you. And I feel really honoured to be able to talk to you guys, because not so long ago, I'm not sure how many years it was now, 7-8 years, I was actually in this common room when it was Durnford, and I went on to do the normal path, and I did uni, I did well, and I've got a really good job at the moment, investment firm, but there was always something missing. There was always a level of mediocrity that I was operating at. And a couple of years ago, I read a book, I listened to some mentors, and things started to trigger in my mind, and I became aware of this notion of belief and how you can actually use it to your advantage. And it was only when I became aware of belief that I actually started to use it and started to do really powerful things and took my game to the next level. And what am I saying is, most people go through life and they don't even think about the beliefs that are running their lives. I don't know if you even reflect on how you behave a certain way. You know, do you know what's running your life? And I'm here to tell you that a lot of it is down to the beliefs that we have, the belief systems that we've grown up with. You know, I believe that our success, our results, anything that happens into our lives is determined by our behaviour, how we behave at school, what our actions do, and how our actions are determined. I believe our actions are determined by our belief. And we all have a belief system within us. We all have beliefs that we have grown up with from very little, that have been determined by our environments, people that we listen to, everything that goes on around us. And a lot of the time we don't even know what's going on with those beliefs and how they're governing us. But I believe if you can become aware of your beliefs, if you can ascertain whether or not the beliefs that you have are disempowering or weakening beliefs or empowering beliefs that encourage you and motivate you and actually help you do the things that you actually want to do in life, then surely that's a better place to be working from. And if you can change your beliefs, if you can recognize those weak beliefs and change them into the positive outcome, the positive opposite belief. For example, if you believe that you're not a very confident person, surely that is a disempowering belief to have as you go through life. Or if you believe that, you know, you're shy, think about the pain that that's going to cause you as you go through life. If you're shy, you're going to miss out on opportunities. You're not going to talk to that person on the other side of the room. That could be a business partner, or it could be the girl of your dreams that you meet. Surely if there is a way that you could turn that negative belief into a positive belief, and you believe that with absolute conviction, then that is surely a way to live by, and if anyone could tell you how to do that, surely that would be something worth knowing. And in the space of 10 minutes, I'm going to try and tell you some possible ways that you can actually help change your beliefs. And so, what is a belief? A belief is just an idea that is supported with certainty that you have. It's just a matter of certainty that you have that idea. And so, a way to think of it is, think of an idea as a tabletop with no legs and it's flat on the floor. That's an idea, but if a belief is a table with legs underneath it, those legs are the reasons that support your belief. So if you believe you're a sexy person, if you stand up now and said, "I'm sexy," I'm not going to ask you to, but if you did, and when you said it, you absolutely believed it, then some of the chair legs that you have for that belief might be that underneath that top you've got a massive six-pack, or that your girlfriend says to you every night that you're super sexy, or you drive a fast car, or something like that. You get it? These are reasons that support that belief, and the more reasons, the more chair legs you have that support your belief, that support this tabletop, then the stronger that belief's going to be. And the reason why having a belief that is strong is so powerful is because your beliefs sit within you, deep in your subconscious mind, and they operate without you really realizing. How often do you act day to day, and the action that you just did, the person you spoke to, you don't suddenly go, "Oh, that's because I believe this, that's why I acted." No, you just do it without thinking. And so that's your subconscious mind, which is hugely powerful, and it influences all of us day to day. And so if you can get control of these positive beliefs, your subconscious mind is going to want to make that belief come true for you. So if you have a negative belief, your subconscious mind is always wanting to prove that you're right. So I wasn't going to say this phrase, but it's like what Henry Ford says. He says, whether you believe you're right or you're wrong, you will be right. And think about that. Whether you believe you're right or you're wrong, you will be right. It's basically saying, if you think negatively, or if you believe negatively, or if you believe positively, or you think positively, you will be right, because your subconscious mind will be working for you. So why is that important? It's because many of us have grown up and we don't know what beliefs we've got. So some of those beliefs are going to be disempowering. And if for example, let me give you the opposite version. If you had a belief that you were intelligent, if you strongly believe that, then you holding that belief within you is going to enable your mind to work for you. It's going to open up the resources in your mind. It's going to allow you to think of intelligent answers when you speak to people. It's going to, your subconscious mind is going to work for you in a way that it's going to be receptive to opportunities to find the answers. And conversely, if you have the opposite belief that you're dumb, or you're stupid, you're shy in front of people, then your mind's going to work for you. It's going to close you off. You're going to be blind to opportunity. And so, how can you change these beliefs? It's all about the chair legs. And so if you want to create more chair legs for a belief, to either strengthen a positive belief you have, or think about a negative belief you have, and you want to turn that into the positive belief. So you're shy, but you want to be confident. What is being shy costing you at the moment? If you're shy, think about all the reasons. Ask yourself a question: what is it costing you to be shy as you go through life? It could be costing you a lot. It could be costing you the ability to perform well in a job interview. It could be costing you the ability to have the confidence in your exams, to revise well, to actually believe that you can do it. It could be costing you a hell of a lot, because in the future those compound and they could mean a big difference to your life. And so you can use those negative pain-avoiding chair legs in addition to these positive building chair legs, which is, what is it going to cost? What is it going to give me if I'm confident? If you're confident, your energy is going to repel to everybody else, and everybody else is going to feel your energy. It's going to be good. You're going to have lots of opportunities come your way. And so you can manipulate your beliefs if you become aware of them, and then if you create chair legs and experiences, table legs, sorry, and experiences that support them. And now, I'm not sure if I'm making sense or if this is going into your heads, but you can take your beliefs to another level as well. And this is what I've done, and it's what's found truly powerful for me. I was coasting for a long time, and I was going mediocre, and my beliefs in myself were, you know, all right, I'm quite confident, I'm not very confident. Oh, I've got some success in my life so far, but not much. Oh, I would like to start my own business, but don't know how I'm going to do that, and never took action. And then when I became aware of this idea about how beliefs work and how really the belief comes down to that little voice in your head for many of us. Who knows what I'm talking about, that little voice in their head? We all know what we're talking about. And you can actually choose to believe something just by, in an instant, telling yourself you believe that. And then later on, you can build up the evidence chair legs that support it and remove the ones that don't. And if you do this powerfully enough and strongly enough, and you create enough emotion to those reasons, for example, now I know none of you smoke here, but if you wanted to prove to yourself, or if you wanted to hold the belief that smoking is bad for your health, and you wanted to truly believe it, so that you never wanted to even smoke at all, then you could create examples and references. For example, you could go speak to people who have suffered with smoking-related diseases. That is an experience that will go into your head and support that belief. You could go take it up another level, and you could go to an emphysema ward in the hospital and see the damage done by smoking. And can you imagine how much that would influence your mind and sink in with you and make that belief really strong? And conversely, if you wanted to be hugely confident in everything you did, if you wanted to be the best rugby player, what would you do? You would study other rugby players. If you could, you would go and speak to some professionals and ask them what their thoughts about their confidence and their belief is, and get that own experience built into your mind. And it doesn't even have to be a real experience. You can sit there and you can even just imagine a scenario. Imagine a scenario that is very powerful, full of colour, emotion, feeling, thought. And you can repeat this day in, day out, and that can work for you. And now, I wasn't going to do this because we don't have time, but I'm going to ask you all now to just sit there and close your eyes. And I'm going to take you through an exercise whereby you can create an imaginative scenario. Just all close your eyes. And say you wanted to run a marathon in your life. I don't know if we've got any marathon runners here in the room, but some of you might not believe at the moment that you're capable of running that marathon. But one example of where you can build a reason to strengthen your belief, if you chose to believe that you could run that marathon, or run that marathon in a 3-hour time, then one way you could do it is by imagining yourself in your running kit right now. Just picture the scenario. You're running, you're jogging, your arms are moving back and forward, you've got your best trainers on, you know what shorts, you can smell the sweat coming up through your nose, you can feel the sweat dripping down your eyes, you can imagine the people on the sideline just as you're approaching the finish line, you can hear them clapping and cheering, you can see the line, you can see the clock and your time as you approach it. And then as you feel your step running over, you feel confident as you cross the line and you just achieved your goal massively, and you put your arms in the air and you start cheering. People start patting you on the back and you feel elated. You've just achieved your goal. It's possible. Okay, you can open your eyes now. That was just a brief example of how you could use imagination to work for you. And with that example, it's what I used. Because as I said, I was struggling mediocre, and I didn't think I could ever run a marathon. And a couple of years ago, I tried to use this power of belief and make it work for me. And I said, right, okay, I'm going to just do a challenge. I'm going to do a marathon. I'm going to do an ultra marathon. I'm going to run 50 miles. And at the time, I was like, or even just before I committed, I was like, how the hell am I going to do that? And then I just committed first. I committed, I believed I could do it. I had faith in what I was doing. And then my mind worked for me. I took actions. The actions created more confidence. And 2.5 months later, I did 50 miles. And it all started with belief in myself. And it was conscious. It was a conscious decision. It wasn't something that happened one day, or I was waiting for an opportunity to come to me. I stood there and then, and I decided that I was going to believe it. And I've taken that to more levels in my life. I've used that same belief to then set up my own business. And hopefully I'm going to one day leave my job and go forward in my life. I've just recently, a month ago, run 100 miles using the same belief system. And it's just hugely powerful. And if you can turn your beliefs into not just beliefs that everybody has, but you can turn a belief into what I would say is a conviction. A conviction is nothing more than a belief which is absolute. It's undeniable. You will not be stopped. any obstacles that come in your way when you're pursuing your belief, you'll go around those obstacles, you'll go